Welcome to the beating heart of Longmeadow. This is the single most important place in the whole garden because it's where we make our compost. It's very easy to make good compost, and also there is no one right way. If it works for you, then you're doing it right. So what I can do is tell you a few basics and then the way that we do it here at Longmeadow. The first thing is, compost is not a process of just decomposition. It's mainly a process of digestion. There are unimaginable trillions of creatures that are at work eating the raw material that you put into a compost heap. So you need to encourage the best conditions for those organisms. The second thing to understand is that a successful compost heap is made out of a roughly constant proportion of material that is high in nitrogen, which is fundamentally green. So you could take, for example, a rhubarb leaf. So that is pretty high in nitrogen, or a dried up leaf like that, which is high in carbon. But you do need plenty of brown material to make that green rot. Otherwise it's too high in nitrogen and you get a sludge. And you'll find all packaging, brown paper of every kind, egg boxes, really good for adding carbon to the heap. And almost all kitchen waste can go on, except any meat, any fat, or anything that has been cooked. Because apart from anything else, they will attract vermin. And what we do here is add everything onto this collective heap. And then once a week, we shred it. Now, if you haven't got a shredder, and I didn't have a shredder for about 20 years, you can mow compost. And that increases the surface area and makes it much easier for the bacteria to work. It then goes into here. I can tell you it's quite warm in here, and you can see there's a kind of grey mould. That's a good sign. What it means is that fungus is already at work. But that is quite hot. And that heat comes entirely from the creatures digesting this. But after about a month, the heat will die down. And then we turn it into here. And by this stage, the compost is getting much more recognizably compost-like. That's still not quite broken down as I'd like it. There's a plant label got in there. Not surprising. It's amazing what turns up in compost heaps. But when you turn it, you get air in, and that provides oxygen, and the bacteria like that, and that gets turned into here. And that looks really scruffy because we've covered it with cardboard to keep it drier. But the cardboard is being digested and becomes part of the heap. That is ready to go to the final bay, which is there to be used. Now, we've nearly used up all this, but if I go into the compost cave, I can come out with a handful like that. If it's at all sludgy and yucky, if it smells bad, it means it's gone anaerobic. There isn't enough oxygen. And you need that oxygen for the bacteria to work. The best way to do it, just turn it. Turn it again. Other than that, that is going to go onto a border. And the crucial thing it's doing, over and above improving the soil structure, is it's adding bacteria and fungus to the soil. And that relationship between the fungus and the bacteria in the soil and the roots of plants is the secret to plant health. That can go back in there. Now, don't be intimidated or put off by the scale of this setup. This is a fairly large garden, and we are fanatical about making compost.